honestly, the Lord is teaching us rest. And when I say rest, I don't mean a season of rest. I don't mean just one, like, Sabbath. Yes, but I'm talking about a lifestyle of rest, like limiting entertainment. God's been teaching us, like, you can scroll all you want and you can watch all these shows all you want. That's something I struggle with. I love entertainment. I just grew up loving TV. I love movies. I love watching actors. I love studying, like, just different cinema styles. Like, I love that. But God was like, you can't, where I'm taking you, like, you can't be strong enough without the power that only comes from time with me.
Hello, welcome to Holy Culture Radio. My name is Jay, and with me today on the Artist Spotlight is Petrina DeLacey. Petrina, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, I am pretty pumped because I had some real FOMO. I saw you were hanging out with DJ Raina a couple of months back, and I was like, oh, I want to go hang out with DJ Raina, but
Right. Oh my gosh, she's so fun. I love DJ Raina. Oh my goodness. Especially
shout out to DJ Raina.
Yeah. My fellow
one day I'll make it over there and
Yes.
All right. So for people who don't know your beautiful face, tell us who Petrina is.
Okay, thank you. My name is Petrina DeLacey. I'm an LA-based Christian artist. Grew up in LA my whole life, Mid-City LA. Whoop, whoop. And I love the Lord. I make music for the Lord. I make music for the kingdom. Also as an evangelistic tool to draw, God, people who might not know that Christian music can be hard or can be nice, or can be relatable to them. And my goal is just to, keep growing as an artist and just help, influence as many people as I can as the Lord has permitted. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I was taking a look at your Instagram and I have so many questions. So I was like, okay, so where do we even start? Let's start out where we all do. Where did Jesus find you?
So I grew up knowing the Lord. Actually, my mother is Christian. My father is Catholic. And so, yeah, I knew God growing up. I actually gave my life to Christ at 9 years old. But as I got older, I, I grew up in a very diverse background, ethnically, socioeconomically. My name was different for people. I just feel like a lot of aspects of myself were different. And so in middle school, a girl came up to me once. She was actually a Buddhist girl in my class. And she was like, Trina, I love that you wear your Jesus hoodies and you represent God. Like, you're just so different. But when she said different, I don't know about you, but in middle school, I didn't want to be different. I wanted to be just like all the other girls. Okay. I wanted the straight hair. I just listened, like, let me just, cause there's just so many insecurities I feel like girls have, you just, everything that you got, you want what the other girls have. And it's just like a means of fitting in, right? And so, yeah, when she said you're so different, I was like, I don't want to be different. And so because of that, it was like I just started to kind of, not be as loud about Jesus. I started to kind of tuck things, unfortunately. And as I was growing up, in high school and stuff, I was just wilding out, like doing a lot of just teenage stuff, partying, smoking. And I feel like sometimes we focus on like the outward sins, but like, my identity was in my looks. My identity was in how many, how much attention I could get from guys because of a traumatic thing that happened to me as a child. All these other things, I feel like we focus on the big sins, but it was the heart issues, like all the other things that come with just being a sinful human, right? And so at 16 years old, I was in a relationship with a guy who was 3 years older than me, right? And that started at 14 all the way up until 16. And this is like the start of my testimony, is that I literally was in the back of the car with him, doing what teens do. And, after all was said and done, I actually started crying. I started crying so much, tears flooding down my face. And I was confused because I was not sad. So it was like my body was, something in me was grieving. I could feel the grief. And that's when I heard for the very first time the voice of the Holy Spirit saying, get out of this situation. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to your parents. Get out. And I believe the Lord really protected me from making crazy mistakes and decisions. If it wasn't for him, I don't know where I would be. But yeah, he literally just handpicked me out of a sinful situation, like a situation of sin, where I was, not, I was unequally yoked. I was not with a guy. It was an inappropriate relationship. And yeah, like from then I started pursuing the Lord. And at 18, after saying no to a record deal that because the Lord said so, that was when I fully stepped into my purpose as like a fully sold out believer. Obviously, you go up little by little, but that was when I really was like, okay, Lord, like I'm living life for you because I gave this up for you.
Right. And so like I was listening to or watching your testimony video that you have pinned on your account about that contract. So let's back up a little bit before that contract. So you were making secular music, right?
Yeah.
Before that point. And so tell us what that start was like. Were you always musical? Were your parents musical, or how did that start?
It's so funny because my parents are not musical. My parents are creative, but they're not like not musically inclined. It was actually my grandmother who loved karaoke. She loved singing worship, and so I was always singing with my grandma, and so yeah, I mean, since a very young age, I was writing songs. I was like 9 years old, just pen to paper, just writing love songs. I don't know who broke my heart when I was 9, but someone did because I was out here writing them Kelly Clarkson type. I love Fantasia. Like When I See You. I love Kelly Clarkson. I love just those like pop, like heartbreak love songs. So I was just writing stuff. I had worship ideas in my head, like gospel ideas. I didn't even know it was gospel. Like looking back at it now, And yeah, so I just always loved music. And yeah, at 16, 17, I just started recording a lot of like music. I just had my mic and just doing stuff for funsies. I ended up at the studio, and that's when I just started to connect with a lot of artists. And I met this PR agent, and yeah, he pretty much that was when I got connected with more of like the industry type stuff. And then yeah, but yeah, it was all secular up until my turning point, really.
Okay. And so man, okay, questions. Let me take you one at a time. Okay. So
Yeah.
so you sing, you rap, you have mad moves. I saw you like doing a little dance thing in the
Oh,
studio.
thank you.
So so were you singing or were you rapping secularly?
It's so funny. Forgive me, I have something in my eye. But I was actually singing. Yeah, I was not rapping up until I got married, and my husband really encouraged me to get into rapping. I didn't think I could do it. I was like, oh, I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper. But he was like, no, like you could, like he just really believed in me, and it was actually on our honeymoon where we recorded "How They Gonna Stand." And like that ended up being like our biggest song. Like it hit him. I still don't know how it hit 1 million. I never promoted it. Like that was my first ever rap song. Like so yeah, very very like not
We're
just
gonna
a
get to
singer.
him in a second.
Yes.
So go back. Let's go back to your contract. So you are getting ready to sign, and this is like for people who are not following you, this is the first time ever hearing them. So pretend like I don't know any of it. So
Okay.
you're in this this place, you're going to sign this contract. What happened that made you not sign the contract?
So yeah, let's see. I was yeah, like I was on this journey with this PR agent for a few months, and I'm just laughing because God is so funny. Um yeah, I was in this journey for a few months. We had been sending like covers, renditions of like Sade to Capitol Records. I was going to these like Hollywood Hills, like networking parties with these like Spotify executives and producers. Like, I was just like super excited. I was like, and it's funny because like I said, I had a relationship with the Lord. I just didn't have discernment. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like Lord, like you've opened these doors and all this other stuff, right? But I felt something, like something was wrestling with me. Like I felt unsettled. I just felt uneasy. I didn't know what it was. I just didn't feel right. And so I asked the Lord, I said, God, like if it is not in your will for me to sign, please make it very loud and clear, because I don't know. It's by the grace of God I even had the wisdom to pray that prayer. Thank Jesus. But yeah, like I guess he implanted in me to know, like, listen, if it's not from the Lord, I don't want it, because I know, I grew up in LA. Like, I know how this stuff goes. I've seen my friends' parents, like actors, actresses, artists, like really talented, beautiful women just get completely, messed up because of how these people are. So um yeah, I was actually talking, and there were little things here and there. Like one of the PR agents, she worked for Whitney Houston actually, and she had told me how they will bring all these artists in. Like they just like have a bunch of development deals with all these artists, put them in rooms, and almost kind of like test them in a way. Like they will put. She was almost braggadocious about it. Like we put out coke, we put out all these drinks, we put out all these drugs, and we see who's gonna get, who thinks they made it already and thinks they can already, like kind of really gets into it. And she kind of almost admitted to just getting some of these people like hooked on drugs, like. And so yeah, like I just hearing those types of things, it was just so sad. And obviously, like I said, my discernment was like but it wasn't until I actually had a friend who had a dream one day, and I was actually, a few months had passed where the contract was, I think, like 2 to 3 weeks away from being ready for me to sign. And I was really wrestling with God. I was like, God, I feel like I'm asking you, like, please just make it so clear. And I feel like you're not making it clear. He was making it clear. I just wasn't seeing it. And so that literally, as I'm talking to God, a little angry with him, like, God, I just feel like you're not being clear. My friend comes out of his room and he's like, Trina, I just had the craziest dream that a friend sold, like, signed to a deal in this dream, a record deal. And in the dream, I got like the understanding that she signed her soul to the devil. And she looked at me, and once she looked at me, she saw that I knew, and she got a gun and chased me and shot me. And I just woke up. And so I was like, wow, like that sounds like a pretty clear sign. But I was like, Lord, forgive me. I just need one more. Because mind you, this was my dream. I was like, no, I thought this was from God. Like, no. And so I think a week later, I was actually at these prophetic Bible studies that we would go to at my college campus. And yeah, this girl who's highly prophetic, I just told her, I said, listen, sis, I really, like, I need a word. Like, I please, if you feel like Jesus, if you feel the Lord saying anything, please let me know. And she just like prayed a bit, and she was like, I feel like the Lord is saying, I've been giving you the red flags, and I want to know, do you choose me or do you choose fame? And so that was the final indicator. Like, I was so convicted, because at that point, everything just was like, oh yeah, this was all about me. This was all about my pride, my ego, puffing myself up, wanting to be that it girl, right? And so, yeah, I think that those two moments, along with like the Holy Spirit giving me that uneasiness, were like my three signs in a way. Yeah.
That's wild. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm like, Lord, am I making stuff up? Like, am I listening to you right? Am I understanding correctly? But it feels like you were like, I don't know. Maybe if I ask one more time, maybe it'll change.
Right. It's so funny how we're always like, oh my gosh, did you really say that? But when we know when we're saying something, because it's not that wrestle. When with God, it's low key that wrestle. Like, you be wrestling with it. So yeah, that's usually a big indicator it's the Lord. If you don't want it, but it's tugging at you.
Right? Yeah, with him, everything is smooth and chill and everything is peaceful. Let that
Yeah.
be a lesson to you kids, anybody watching.
Yes. Please.
Okay,
Please no.
so your hubby. So before we get into your music, JB the Preacher, right?
That'd be the preacher.
Your hubby. So you met him in 2017, 2018, somewhere in there?
We 2015. We went to high school together. So when
Oh,
I yeah, so I transferred to my sophomore year. I transferred to his high school. I didn't know him, but yeah, I transferred to the high school he was going to, and yeah, I was 14, 14, yeah, 15.
so
Yeah.
so you guys knew each other then, and how did you, was he an artist then also, or did that come later?
He like rapped here and there for fun, but like he was not like, he didn't take it seriously a little more until like college, or like the summer before college, so like 2018. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, we were friends, we were chilling, but yeah, we both didn't really get deep into music. We kind of almost got into it together, like around 17, like 17 years old. Yeah, yeah,
Because then you said you talked about it a little bit before. So the first one that you guys did together, I was a bad mood. Was that your single, or were you guys doing that together? Because your first one, it was under guidance for 22 in the year
yes,
22. So how did that start?
Oh, like us making music together?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean honestly, he's like a huge like component in just me walking in my identity as an artist, as a Christian artist. He's been like my number one like just cheerleader on the, I mean, maybe yeah, cheerleader. He's been my cheerleader, like he really has. And like he's been my number one supporter. And yeah, I mean, he's the one who kind of was like, we need to invest in higher mics for you. We need to, he became an audio engineer actually. And so he was like mixing, and he taught me about professionalism. I used to record something on my Apple headphones and think that was like so good. Like he was the one who showed me like, no, there's like a standard and all this other stuff. Like he really put me on to like just the mechanics behind it all, I guess. And so yeah, I mean, we just enjoyed making music together. Sometimes it was a struggle because I was a little difficult after. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little difficult after, especially after saying no to the deal, because I was just like in my feelings. Like I felt like I was hurt. I truly was hurt because I felt like the Lord did lead me there. And then so then for him to be like, it was a test. I like God was showing me, I mean, I was learning about the Lord's nature. And so yeah, like I think I was a little hurt. So I think making music for me was a little hard, getting back into it, like for Jesus. So yeah, Justin, if he was here, he would be telling you I'm difficult sometimes in the studio, but I've grown a lot. I've grown so much in just being more, I can be a perfectionist, but yeah, like I think yeah, I mean, we just make music together. Like we have our own studio. We just be vibing, honestly.
Right. And so, what was that green light moment for you where you were like, okay, I am done being in my feelings about it. Now it's time to embrace my gift and start making music. Tell us what that moment was like for you.
Well, I think it was like as I was making music, I think I just stepped so quickly into the business side of it, where like it wasn't like at first it was flowing from me, right? Like what I made was flowing from me. But when I was sending like sample tracks, and when like the PR agent was telling me like what to, like just kind of giving me more direction, it was almost like I became what they wanted me to be in a way. I mean, it was at the very cusp of it. I didn't go deep into it, but still, I think it was enough for me to just kind of be like, oh, this is a business. Like and so I was making music throughout that point, and I would just say it was honestly like a healing progression, like me just having those honest conversations with God, like, hey, like, you know, I don't know. I teach me how to go back to making music just for the love of it. Teach me how to make music for you. So it was like it was a slow progression that I'm still learning. Like I'm still truly learning. Just me and you, Lord. It's not about people, it's not about the business side of it. Like it's just about what flows from my heart.
Right. And I feel like, and just looking at your testimony, and you've traveled, right? You've gone, was it a missionary trip that you were in Africa? And then
Yeah.
you guys started a club, is that right? And so
Yes, yeah.
I feel like you have like this outpouring of that. So tell us about first, your missionary trip looks super fun. I was like, oh, where did you go?
Yes, so I in when I was 16, I went to the Gambia, and it's funny because that was like at the beginning of my faith walk, right? Because like I was 17. I had just, like I said, like I just came to the Lord. And so when I heard that my school was doing like a medical missions trip, I was like, I have to go. And so I was working super hard. I was a hostess at a restaurant in near Palisades, or like near like in Santa Monica, but like bougier area. And so I was working my butt off. I was working at a receptionist at a doctor's office. So I raised that 3K, which I'm really proud of myself for. But yeah, like it was a phenomenal time. Literally, once I landed there, and we were taking the bus we were staying with these nuns off of the coast, and I just, it was almost like I started crying tears of joy because I felt the Lord say like, this is home. Like I just felt it. Like I truly do think I've gotten a lot of prophetic words about Africa. I love. I've only been to South Africa and the Gambia, but like I am in love with that continent, with those countries. Like yeah, uh, such a life-changing experience. I'm trying to get my husband on board. I'm like, listen, we're going to Africa someday soon, okay? But yeah, regarding I don't know if you asked about the club. Sorry, but
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah. So
the club.
the outpouring towards people. So first was your experience in Gambia, which was amazing. It was life changing. And I feel like
Yes.
right at 16, 17, you're like right at the cusp of adulthood. So you're like, who am I? Who do I love? And that must have been like a really click for moment for you. And so tell us about the club. I saw you guys like were putting out Valentine's events. So I was like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the club. The club. Yeah, so I mean we started it sheesh, last year? 2024? 2024.
Mhm.
Is okay, yeah, we the Lord put it on our hearts at the very end of 2023. Sorry, that's why I got confused. We started it on New Year's of 2024. And so yeah, we've been going for a month. And what is this? I mean a month. A year and 6 months. I mean June is 6, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's just been crazy. Honestly, it's like it's so surreal. Like on our first night, I was just like it was like everything was just happening before me. Like it's like I wasn't even able. I don't know, I mean, I'm sure you've hosted events and stuff. Like when you're hosting an event, especially one that gets just a lot of traction at the very beginning, it's just so surreal. Like, and then for people, we had our friend Mike from Generation Recovery, being our MC. And it was just so crazy because he was giving us this like he was like, oh, give it up for the owners. And it's like it doesn't even feel like it's ours. Like the Lord has allowed us to steward it, but like it was just like I don't even want to take credit for this because this is not us. Like this is literally like this is not us. Trust and believe, because it's a lot of work. And so when people will be like, oh, when people slandered it or whatever, I'm just like, we it's not like it is not what you think it is. This is not like I'm it's work. It's work. What I'm trying to say is it's work. And it's so worth it because the community that we have built, that we've been cultivating, is just so special. And you just see so many different, especially young adult believers in different walks of life. People driving, we got some girls coming all the way from San Diego. We got people coming from the Valley. We've had people fly out like from Chicago. It's just been crazy. It's been absolutely insane. And just to think about, people feel safe there. There truly is, like, it's truly a safe space for believers, whether like they're back, maybe they fell away coming back, or they're very strong in their faith. It's just like I can just feel like it's training ground. Like I feel like it's training ground for believers and those who are called to like just to ministry in any capacity. Like I just feel like God, it's really special. And I'm just so grateful that the Lord has entrusted us with people, because you see so many things about people, leaders mishandling people. And so I don't take it lightly. um and yeah, it's just really special. It's surreal. It's just crazy. Honestly.
So
Like, yeah.
so I know that Christian club has like this connotation. Some
Connotation.
people are like, those two don't go together. Other people are like, yeah, it's a vibe. Tell us what a typical event would look like.
So listen to me clearly. When you hear Christian club, I don't want you to freak out. I want you to think a young adult, like a youth group for young adults. That's literally what it is. Like people freak out so much over the word club. And it's funny because we were gonna change it because it got so much backlash, and the Lord told Justin, no, keep it. It's a club. And so we're like, okay, God, because we were gonna change it. And that just goes to show, don't be people pleasing, because the Lord, well, He'll call you to a lane that people might not like, and they're just gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, like pretty much you come in, you're greeted, you get your little wristband. We got food. We got, usually we have pizza, drinks, like lemonade, water, soda, whatever. And yeah, we'll have a lot of games, a lot of icebreakers. We're trying to break that ice and just cultivate that like fellowship and community, centered around fun and Jesus. And we'll have our DJ Jesus. He's like just playing a bunch of hits, bunch of bangers. And then we have our MCs. We got Nisi. We just got people like on the dance floor hyping people and encouraging people to dance. Sometimes in club spaces in the secular realm, it's easier to get people because, one, there's more of a culture around music. Obviously, like, everyone knows a Drake song. Everyone might not know, Christian artist songs. We're trying to get Christians to listen to Christian music. But second, we are completely sober. Clubs are not. Obviously when you got the smoke and mirrors, you're more, your senses are not, you're more open. And so, we're really trying to cultivate a wholesome, sober community centered around fun. But yeah, imagine a youth group for young adults. That's what this is. Lots of games. We used to give out prizes. It's just fun. Like, it's just really fun. We got dance battles. It's super fun.
See, there you go. Nothing wrong with wholesome Christian fun.
Yes.
So now that we've talked about all your kind of ministries out there, and we haven't even talked about your studio, but let's get to the music. So, okay, so your first one, okay, Real Life is Fiction. That
Real life is
was
fiction.
right. So that was in 2022. That was
Yes.
your first single, or was that just your first one with your hubby?
That was my first one with my husband. I believe I was in a bad mood. Now I'm not. I believe that was my first ever album. Yeah.
Solo, right?
Solo,
And
yeah.
then you had 6 in 2023, 2 features and an album. In 2024 and 2025, you're just like cranking out music left and right. And I love that you are very like diverse. Like you have some of your songs are more R&B, sorry, and like very melodic, and then you have your other ones, like your latest project that you came out is very pop, very rap. You have bars, you can rap and sing. And so tell us what your musical influences are, because you said you came from a very culturally diverse background. You're in LA, which is like surrounded by culture. Tell us
Yeah.
what inspires you to make your music.
Oh my gosh. Like, when I tell you I love all vibes. Like, so my mom is Mexican, right? So I grew up with cumbia. I grew up they're Mexicans from Texas. They're like Tex-Mex. So they love country music. Country music was never really my cup of tea. My mom loves country music. I grew up on Selena, obviously. Like, I grew up on like just super dope, like, yeah, just that Latin fusion. I grew up on, like I said, I actually loved Kelly Clarkson. I feel like she subconsciously was like a huge. I just loved her artistry. I loved her singing. She was just always so dope. I loved her albums as a kid. I listened to Fantasia. We listened to Sade. My dad loves rock. He's half black, half Italian. So we got, the soul. We got the I grew up listening to like a lot of like Italian music as well. Like, literally, when I tell you, like, it's been an array. And so I'm very excited to tap more into those specific sounds. And yeah, I mean, I would say for me though, like, I truly do love artists like Sade. Um I mean, I don't listen to them I mean, for inspiration purposes, if I'm trying to like listen to like a sound. But yeah, I mean, it's truly all over the place. As far as rap, I would say female rappers in the secular realm that I really respect. It's funny because Danny Lay doesn't have a lot of like rap, but the tracks that she does rap on, I'm like, yo, I think she could easily be one of the biggest like rappers, period. And now she's a Christian, so hey, you never know what might happen. But or I know she's at least taking her faith very seriously now. And yeah, I'm all over the place, so I don't have better answers. But I truly love all music. I grew up on Kendrick. I grew up on J. Cole. I loved J. Cole, but I loved trap. I loved 21. I loved Kodak. I loved Young Thug. Like, I just love everything pretty much. Like, except some country, maybe some classical. A little slow for me. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'll become a classical prodigy as I get older. I don't know. But right now, it's more of the rap, the R&B. I love SZA. I love her. I love all of them. Obviously, don't support the secular realm, but as far as like growing up, that's how I grew up for sure.
No, that's awesome. Italian and black. Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
that means like when you get like angry, you get like really angry. Like
Oh my
all your
gosh,
spicy comes out.
I've had to renounce. It's so funny because my anger issues like literally started popping up actually after I got married. I was like, dang, I don't know, I'm so angry. Dang. But yeah, Italians, yeah, maybe it's the gratons, like my family, but oh my gosh, 0 to 100. Like, I'm like, oh gosh, everyone, let's
Where's the
piano,
chancla?
piano, per favore, piano. Too much, demasiado, too much, too much.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Definitely
All
a
right.
fan. My mom, it's funny because my mom is so sweet. She's literally a Latino woman from like literally grew up in Compton, Linwood, Downey. She's like the sweetest. You would what she's been through, you would never think. And my dad, love your dad, but he's a hothead, and so I'm a hothead. So I'm working on it. It's bad.
I am a recovering hothead. The Lord has done his very best to just stomp it out of me, and motherhood, and
Amen.
now in my 40s, it's a battle every single day.
Oh
just
my gosh,
just
you look
yeah.
amazing.
Just wait till you have kids. They bring out a whole nother side of
Oh
you
my
too.
gosh. Yeah, I got some gray hair slipping out already. I was like, oof, I need to chill out. I need to chill out
But
for real. Hmm.
so let's talk about what time is it? Okay, so let's see. So you have all these things going on. You're a musician, you're a club owner, you have a studio also, and you have like this really big heart for people. How do you balance all of these things? Because you're also married, and so I feel like um yes, you're married, but you don't have like a big family yet, right? And so how do you make sure that that you have like time for your relationship with God, and then you have your ministry? How do you balance all those things?
One, I would say like obviously besides the Lord, like my husband always comes first. So it's like if something happens or whatever, like my husband always needs to be my priority. And if he's ever not, like if in my mind the first thing I think about is maybe, oh, I need to get this done or get this done before helping him in any way. I have to like, like remind myself, recenter myself, like, no, like music is important, business is important, all these things are important, but like nothing is more important than my husband and our relationship because like if we're gonna truly do, we truly do see the club as ministry and like it's been prophesied to us, the Lord has made it very clear, like the club is going to be an outward reflection of your guys's like secret place time of your guys's just we need to be solid. And I think I've worked in church actually for 3 years, and so yeah, just seeing just the strain, ministry can be very straining, and so just making sure we're always good. Honestly, the Lord is teaching us rest, and when I say rest, I don't mean a season of rest, I don't mean just one like Sabbath, yes, but I'm talking about a lifestyle of rest, like limiting entertainment. God's been teaching us like you can scroll all you want and you can watch all these shows all you want. That's something I struggle with. I love entertainment. I just grew up loving TV. I love movies. I love watching actors. I love studying like just different cinema styles. Like I love that. But God was like, you can't, where I'm taking you, like you can't be strong enough without the power that only comes from time with me. And so I think it's truly time with him that does it. And like my flesh is it'd be so reluctant, like I want to watch a movie or I want and it's like God is really just really ripping out just that performance Christianity, feeling like I have to come to Christ a certain type of way. Like, no, Lord, like I'm at this point I just come to God like, Lord, I don't want to spend time with you, I don't know why I don't, but show me that you are true rest and show me that you are not something I run away from, but you're something I run to when I don't feel well. And so yeah, I honestly, I'm still learning how to balance it all, but I would definitely say God is teaching us rest. He's like, you can't keep running and then burning out. That's not how I called you to do it. Jesus would be with the people, be with the multitudes, and then he would retreat. And so I think he's teaching us. I'm an extrovert through and through. So I love people. I will talk all day. I will be out till 5 a.m. We'll be praying. We'll be talking to people, but prophesying. But it's like God's teaching me like, okay, all that is great, but I love you too, and I want to minister to you. I want you need to be fed. So yeah, I think rest, time with him, you can't go wrong. Like that's the foundation. Everything else, obviously taking care of yourself, because that is also worship. Like taking care of our bodies, taking care of like making sure we eat well, all of that. And I think everything else flows. That's my 2 cents. Maybe I'll have a different answer in a few months. I don't know, but for now, that's yeah.
No, that's crazy, and I think that it's important. It's underrated rest, and it's also like it's healthy. Like we need a rest, but like I feel like we're in such a go 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 culture, and especially right now, everything's like gotta have it like yesterday, and so we're just like striving. We're always striving
We're always
instead of
striving.
just right. And so does that mean that you have like certain habits that you've had to let go of, like maybe a little bit of unplugging from social media, or how does that balance out with everything else you have going on?
Yeah, like I try to make it a point. I mean, with everything going on in LA right now, I'm trying to stay on social media a little more just to stay in touch with like current events and stuff. But yeah, like I would say I try to remember like I'm on social media for a purpose. It's either to post, to, engage. How am I gonna scroll through all these things and I have like 20,000 DMs I need to respond to? Like let me like, like I have to remind myself the priorities and not get sucked in. Yeah, like I would say that's like one of the biggest things is like I try to remember to be intentional and always know my why. Yeah, but definitely like no scrolling. um you know Time with God first thing in the morning. That's I'm not perfect at it, but that's obviously the goal. um and yeah, like before, if, let's say we want to watch a movie, sometimes we'll be like, how about we just watch a sermon while we eat dinner instead of watching a movie? And like my flesh be like, oh, I want to watch a movie, but like I have to no, like you need to be we need to be fed. We can only be as strong as as we feed ourselves, right? So yeah, like I think
And
there's definitely a lot of sacrifice. We really try to be intentional with where we go. Like we're not just out to just, oh, I gotta make sure I'm seen here and seen here and seen here. It's like, God is gonna do the, he lifts up the humble. Like all we have to do is just keep exalting him. So the best thing I can do is get, especially now that we're entrepreneurs, like I need direction from God. I need to know if I need to say yes to this decision or no to this one, or you know he's had very specific things about the club. Like on Easter of last year, he was like, I want you to play the Passion. Like it wasn't even a club night. It was like, I mean, I think we danced a little, but we literally set up TVs and had people watch the Passion, and people were impacted. And so, yeah, like we can't know these things if we're not taking that time to hear him. And I unfortunately know too well how it feels to do work for him and not spend time with him. And it's the worst feeling in the world. And I don't wish that upon anyone. Like, so yeah, I think just
yeah,
reminding myself I don't want to go back to, that season of just striving, and it's awful.
yes.
Terrible.
And you said it before, you didn't want to stay in that performance Christianity, right? So you were saying, so you were showing up for God like in a certain way, but there was no connection there, right?
Um, or like it was like I felt like I had to come to him a certain way.
Mm.
Like I felt like I couldn't be honest. Like I felt like I had to, you know, like yeah, I felt like I couldn't tell God that I don't want to spend time with you. Forgive me. I don't want to spend, like I don't, my flesh my flesh is really really weak right now, right? Like, or in my mind, I'm like my flesh is real strong. My spirit is like very quiet. Like, so like I feel like having just being completely honest with God instead of feeling like I have to just go through the motions and force myself to be there, when it's like that's not where I'm really at. Like I think he wants our honesty and our transparency, you know?
Yeah, I think he can do a lot more with an honest prayer than with just like all the names that we give him in the Bible. We recite all these names. He doesn't want all that. He just wants the
Exactly.
real Lord. I do not want to read my Bible today. Like I don't feel like praying
Exactly.
today. Right? Yeah.
But it's about
Yeah.
showing up and being consistent. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you for that. That's great. Okay, so tell us about your next project. So, August, you're working on something. What are you cooking up?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm pretty much rolling out a bunch of singles. Like, I believe Daughter of a King is my next track. I believe that is what I'm gonna be like going towards. Just that dope West Coast vibe. I actually have a lot of ambient music as well that I'm excited to get into. So my plan is to drop my singles, drop my rap, drop even an album maybe of just like a lot of things I've been working on, because I've really been Justin, my husband, has been pushing me. Like, he's been like, you can do this. I was like, I can't rap on this beat. And he was like, yes, you can.
Yes, yeah.
And so that was actually our last album together. The Holy Matrimony album was him saying, like, you can do it. And I was like, I can't. I feel like I'm not good enough for this track. And he was like,
that was a great album, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so crazy how many people like it. I'm like, if y'all only knew how much, like, I'm like, oh gosh, like, you know, but I just did it. And so I think from that, I really elevated in my rap, actually. And so I'm just excited for these next few drops. But yeah, I just dropped Hit a Lick. I dropped Holy Girl Stop, Daughter of a King. Yeah, I'm excited for these, like, heavy hitting, like, super dope tracks for sure. Daughter of a King.
Well, thank you so much, Petrina, for hanging out with us and giving us an insight into who you are and what your big giant heart for the people is about. And yeah, we can't wait to see what you drop next.
Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you, Holy Culture, for having me. It's always such a blessing, such an honor. And God bless you guys.